Hello, cinephiles, and welcome back to Silver Screen Sips, a podcast where three idiot friends talk about movies. And today, we follow the White Rabbit down the hole. Welcome to the Matrix.
Ooh.
Are you folks ready to take your red pill and discover the truth? Or do you want to continue living a lie?
We'll get to that.
Anyway,
I'm very worried.
Thank you.
How dare you just jump to my segment?
Oh, I wasn't jumping to your segment. I was trying to imitate the Matrix.
No, I know. Hey everyone, welcome back. We're in season 3 now. Woo! If you can't tell, the results are in, and we are on season 3. And we're doing The Matrix. If you couldn't tell by Lewis's amazing intro.
Thank you.
Yes.
I got inspired in the moment. I was like, oh, let me try this.
Really? You just felt it.
Yes, exactly.
Anyways, guys, welcome back. Thank you for voting. And stay tuned, for the end of this season as well for our next poll. We do that at the end of each season. So always be checking our Instagram for those. And also, we had an astounding landslide victory of the main.
Brother, thank you guys. I don't got to watch Lord of the Rings.
Oh, one day.
You still do, but later.
Yeah. Just not now, but you will eventually.
I'm only delaying the inevitable, I know.
All right. Anyways, we'll get into that in another season. Anyways, I have not seen these movies. So obviously I watched The Matrix, the first one today. So fresh in my skull and I'm ready to go. So Lewis, do you have a drink for us today?
It's a little less traditional than a drink. I actually have a pair of shots.
Ooh.
Hell yeah, brother. Let's go.
Aptly named the red pill and blue pill.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. So today is, it's the Matrix, the red pill or the blue. So what you're going to do actually is you're going to take about 1.5 ounces peach schnapps and 3 ounces of pineapple juice and mix those with ice in a shaker, right? You're going to strain that into 2 shot glasses. You're going to fill them about 3/4 of the way. This one is a little bit tricky because it does require layering, but we'll get into how to do that. Once you have, done so, the way Tipsy Bartender did it, he had a small measuring glass. He took his vodka, poured it into the mixing glass, about, I want to say 2 ounces of vodka, and then about 1 ounce of strawberry liqueur. In this case, it could be Aperol. It could, I knew another one off the top of my head, but we'll get back to that. Anyway, strawberry liqueur. That's what's important. Add that to your vodka, stir, and slowly layer it into your first shot glass for your red pill. For the other option, in your other mixing glass, you're going to do blue Curaçao and vodka. Mix them and layer that into your other shot glass. And you have you have 2 pairs of shots that look delicious. And I would also there's something else called a Captain on Acid. It looks kind of similar to, yes. I'll explain what that is in a minute. It's unrelated, but it looks similar to this.
What a name.
That is a name.
The vodka and the strawberry liqueur are less dense than the pineapple and peach schnapps. Slightly similar in appearance, but on the reverse end of the spectrum here, you have our Captain on Acid. I've actually made these several times. This is pineapple and orange juice, Captain Morgan, blue Curaçao, and instead of using a strawberry liqueur, you're actually going to use grenadine, which is the red layer at the bottom. The green in the middle is because of the blue Curaçao, and then yellow, of course, is juices on top. You don't layer this one so much as you try to slowly pour it because the density will cause it to go down and kind of create this color gradient. It's a very fruity shot. I honestly think it's one of the top ones one of my top choices to make if I'm just making it for friend.
This is for you.
Yeah.
So to make that the third shot, what's the third shot called?
It's called Captain on Acid.
So Captain on Acid, exact same thing, except use grenadine instead of blue Curaçao or strawberry liqueur?
Yes and no, because you're not layering this drink. You're not doing the same process. You're doing different juices also, I believe. And you're not using peach schnapps. Find the recipe. Captain on
So
Acid.
it's really nothing like it.
Yeah, it just kind of looks similar.
It just looks. Yeah, you know what else is just like this? A B-52.
You know what else is just like this? Your mom.
Oh my God.
She does have a lot of layers.
So in Captain on Acid, it's actually Captain Morgan, coconut rum, pineapple juice, and then the Curaçao. It's actually really tasty. I'm going to make one next time I see you guys. probably actually.
Yeah, come up.
Yeah, I'm
I got a full bar. Yeah, sorry.
I got a full bar.
Quick heads up. If my audio sounds any different than the last previous episodes, because I recently moved across state. So right now I'm sitting in an empty room. So if it sounds, any echoey or anything, I apologize. Hopefully I can get my setup back to normal before the next episode. So continue. Sorry. Just wanted to put that little disclaimer in there.
Red pill and blue pill sound very tasty. I will personally give them both a 5 out of 5, actually, as far as a shot.
Wow.
If I had to make this into a drink, I would, since it would take a little bit more technique and
imagine layering an entire glass.
You can, actually, but it's more challenging. I also don't know how I would do it with ice. But regardless. Well, actually that's basically how you make a tequila sunrise. But moving on. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 as a drink. As a shot, definitely a 5.
Okay.
Because it sounds delicious.
Isaiah?
I want to give these 4.5s out of 5s. All 3 of them, because I feel like all of these would be up right my alley.
They really would. This man loves his fruity drinks.
It's true. My only issue I might take is that it has coconut rum in it for the captain, and pineapple juice. Pineapple juice is not my favorite, and neither is coconut. But I feel like everything mixed together might not taste it as bad. So it looks pretty good.
Now I will say as a shot, this is pretty good. I'd say a 4 out of 5. It definitely would be one that I would probably order like as a safe shot for like a round for my friends and stuff. Like usually I do like lemon drops or green tea because it just is so easy. This sounds like something that also would be pretty good. So I'd give it a 4 out of 5. But if it was a drink, probably a 2 out of 5 because that just sounds like way too sweet for me. I can do a sweet shot, but I cannot do a sweet drink.
So I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think there is a way to layer this without ice. You can actually make this into like a martini, eventually. I think you could layer it as a martini and it would make sense. You would just have to make sure your martini glass is chilled to try and keep it cold for as long as possible. You could also do just a regular Collins glass, I think, as well, with no ice.
Well, somebody out there listening, try that and let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
We're talking to you, Ellis.
Yes.
She would definitely try it.
The Ellis Island.
Okay, well, thank you for your drinks, Lewis. I like those. Very nice, very nice.
Thank you very much, guys. Glad to bring some options. Very nice options.
We do like our options. The real question is, which one, if you were provided both the red pill and the blue pill shot, which one would you take?
Red pill.
Everybody knows you go to the red pill.
No, not for the sake of, I'm not talking about analogy wise. I'm talking about flavor wise.
Oh, flavor wise? Yeah, red pill.
I don't like Curaçao that much.
I would also take the red.
I feel like strawberry liqueur would taste really good.
Some chocolate. Ooh. Anyways, before I get
picking up our own little thing.
Before I get sidetracked here, are you guys ready for my question of the day?
Yes.
Because I have
question 1. Will you take the blue pill, the red?
Yeah. So let me just crash that out. Hold on. I'm just kidding. No, for real. Was actually going to be one of the questions I was going to ask. Was red pill or blue pill? But I want you guys to go a little more in depth on your answers. And that's also not my fun question. This is just getting it out of the way because it's an obvious question that needs to be asked. And then I have a better question to follow up. So who wants to go first? Red pill or blue pill? And for those of you who have not seen The Matrix or don't remember, red pill pulls you out of the Matrix and the blue pill keeps you in and you're just unaware.
I would red pill.
Wow, great answer.
I need you to, I'm sorry, I was distracted. Can we just go back, please?
Go back, please.
Okay. Question is red pill or blue pill? The red pill pulls you out of the red pill. The red pill pulls you out of the Matrix and the blue pill keeps you unaware and in the Matrix. I'm asking you, which would you choose and give us a good reason why, Don't just say, oh, red pill, blue pill. Give me why pick that.
I think similar to how the scene itself goes, the context of being offered this red pill or blue pill and someone explaining to me the idea that we live in the Matrix and that all of this is computer simulation and so on and so on and so forth. I would be very, very curious as to what they actually mean. I don't know if they're just trying to give me a drug You know, I'm just like, oh, I'm about to go on a fucking acid trip. Hell yeah, brother. Or what actually happens is I take the red pill and fucking lose my mind because, oh my God, he was right. And what, like kind of like Adam and Eve biting the apple, right? I think is what it's meant to stimulate in a sense.
Are you saying Morpheus is God?
Not really. I would say Morpheus is Satan.
Oh, that's true. Oh, crap.
Wait, what?
Satan was the snake that offered the apple to Eve.
Oh, okay. Fair. I thought you would just spoil something for me. I was like, wait, he's evil? Oh. Let's not get into religion here. So continue.
Moving on.
That's a philosophical debate on another level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We could have that one separately after ours. Check the Patreon. So yeah, I would definitely lean towards taking the red pill, just out of like the curiosity and being like, this guy must be full,
Okay.
So, just see what happens. But then, like, if the blue pill is also meant to serve as a symbol for something, I feel like it would be very like pacifying. It's almost like an antipsychotic. So,
Isaiah, what about you?
Given the context of the movie, if I was in like Neo's position, because if there's something you didn't catch in the movies is that Neo's is kind of old compared to the age of people they would usually take out of the Matrix.
I think they mentioned that actually.
Yeah, he's a bit older. So they would technically the kids in the Oracle scene, you would be younger. You would be in like your preteen area of when you would try to pull people out, or at least your teenage years. At least that's what I understood from that, because all the other possible people who were supposed to be like the one were also like were like preteens. So assuming that's the area that they would do, but we're gonna get rid of that for my point and just do it as if that was gonna do it today. I would say I would take the red pill because I assume I would obviously be looking for something. It's not something, because even in the universe of the Matrix, it's not like they go around to saying, hey, you want to get out of here? Like, you want to hear some crazy stuff and then get out of here? Like, it's not like that. It's more of like people are in search of something and they know who to contact with, because they're also in search. They also know who to get in contact with because they're the ones who they're searching for. So I would say that I would be probably looking for that, and then finally be able to get an answer. I would take the red pill, because why would I go through all that time and research and try to find an answer to a question just to be like, nah, I'm gonna head out. So I'd probably take the red pill.
Okay, that was a very I think no, I was gonna say when I was asking the question, I was more meaning it towards like you personally, not like if you were in his position, I guess. But I can see
if I was either in his position or if I was myself, because they kind of follow not a similar format, but like a similar like idea of that they're looking for certain people that they can obviously be able to take out. So
okay. I'm a pussy, so I would do the blue pill.
Wow. She wants to say ignorance is bliss.
Listen, I'm sorry, but ignorance is bliss. Okay. I'm going to follow in the footsteps of my father, and I'm going to ignore everything around me and be the happiest man on earth. Okay.
Damn.
Hell yeah, brother.
I'm okay with that. I would be fine. If I found out right now that I was living in a simulation and someone came up to me and was like, do you want to know all the secrets and find out the truth? Or do you want to keep living your life that you're totally, completely content with right now? I would say, give me that blue pill, please. I don't want to be. I don't want to have my life turned upside down. I'm good right now.
Blue, when you make these shots, she's not allowed to take the red pill. She's no longer allowed to see what the strawberry liquor tastes like.
Ooh. Okay. Wait. Now, when you put it in that context.
They don't hand
I
you
was
a pill.
going to say, we're going to do the exact opposite. She's going to try and resist, and we're going to be like, no, you're taking the red pill. So.
Wait, if Lou's the bartender, that makes him Morpheus.
Yeah, I'll wear the glasses and everything.
He's got the hair.
Too.
Yes. Can you please? I'll be Trinity.
Oh, the White Rabbit.
All right. We got some PCP. Not PCP. PCV.
PCV?
It's the fabric that her clothes are made out of.
I thought you said PCP. I was like, oh, we're doing drugs.
I did say PCP,
okay.
and I was like, crap, I don't know what it meant.
Like, oh, we're going in the good stuff. Don't do drugs, kids. So
this is a PSA.
So yes. So that's, obvious. That was a question that everyone knew was going to happen. But let's get a little more creative now. Same concept. You are presented with two pills. Okay. Now, do you guys want the same question, or do you guys want me to ask you both different questions?
Let's see what the questions are.
Okay. I'll just ask the first one. Now, 2, you have to take one of these, by the way. You have to take either the red pill or the blue pill. The red pill, you lose your sense of taste forever. The blue pill, you're completely colorblind. Everything's like grayscale forever. You see shades, but it's all gray.
I'm living in a black and white movie.
Film. Yeah, basically.
50 Shades of Grey, huh?
Oh,
Nope.
God.
No, two different directions. Isaiah's like, ooh, a noir. And then Lewis is like, 50 Shades of Grey.
I was just naming the title. I was not referencing the actual premise.
I know, joking.
The book.
So who wants to take their pill first, and which pill?
So no taste or colorblind.
Mm-hmm. Completely colorblind, not just like yellow, blue colorblind, like completely, you cannot see color.
I'm dog colorblind.
Yes. Well, dogs can see red, I think.
I don't know. I'm not a dog.
Anyways, I could make so many jokes. Okay. So
I would say colorblind because I like to taste of things.
Yeah, hands down colorblind. I like food.
Yeah.
I want to taste my shots.
That's true. That is actually, it might be good to not taste them. It might be more dangerous that way, though.
That is true.
Okay. So completely colorblind. See, I think I would also have to say the same. However, I think the only downfall in being completely colorblind is getting dressed for the day, because you could be wearing two completely not matching colors and you would never know. That's it. Yeah. So if you don't care about fashion, then you're fine. All right, let me do one more. Because that was great.
Well, wait, I was going to make a comment here. Your boyfriend does pretty well dressed though.
He's only yellow, blue colorblind. He can see colors. He can see them.
What does yellow blue colorblind mean, real quick? What is so?
He can't. He specifically, Jacob cannot see different shades. He could see, like, if I gave him a light blue and a navy, he could tell that they're different shades. But if I gave him a light blue and then like a baby blue, like a very close, like a closer shade of something that's either yellow or blue, he cannot tell the difference. He's like, those are exactly the same colors. But he can see other color shades. Like he can see differences in reds and browns and stuff. It's just yellow and blue. Those are all the same shade.
Interesting.
Yeah, we went to Home Depot the other day to get paint for our furniture. And I was like, which blue do you think is better? He's like, are they not the same shade? I'm like, oh my God, no, they're so different. It was interesting. I was like, how do you not? I was like, I want to experience that, but just for like 5 seconds, not for like ever. I just want to know what it's like.
His cones and rods are all screwed up.
Mm-hmm, basically. So now,
I didn't believe him at first when he told me, because we were in college. Right? I was like,
I didn't believe him either. And then I made him pinky promise. I was like, no shit.
No shit.
Verbal contracts with Beth is just pinky
promises. If you ever break a pinky promise, I will never trust you again. But if you pinky promise with me, just know that I have full faith and trust.
Wow, you pinky promise with me.
Mm-hmm. It means a lot. Anyways, okay, let me ask one more, because this one is going to be interesting. I think this one's going to be a more difficult answer, because that one I think was pretty easy.
Before you go on.
Mm-hmm. Another red pill, blue pill. They're all going to be red pill, blue pill. Wow.
Well,
say red pill. Wow. Oh, say red pill, blue pill 5 times fast. Go.
Red pill, blue pill. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Nope.
All right.
Red pill.
No, back. That doesn't count.
Red pill, blue pill, blue pill.
You can't even do blue pill. Blue pill, blue pill, blue pill, blue.
Blue pill, blue pill. Okay, yeah, you're right.
We all sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay? So,
Adrian!
That's not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That is.
I did Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I was like, you just quoted a completely different movie.
You see, I got what Lou was trying to go for, but he said the wrong person.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. Keeping that one.
We're on the same wavelength, Lou. Don't worry.
Oh my God. Anyways, question is, for the millionth time, red pill is the date of your death. The blue pill is the cause of your death.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Red pill.
You want to know the date of your death? Wow.
I'll take. Oh yeah, no.
I'm just gonna say fuck it.
He's gonna walk around that day and be like, I know it's
So yeah, basically, I mean, that's how I live most of my life anyway. Fuck around and find out. That's how I figure things out. With a lot of things. No, like literally, I was having this conversation with my friend the other day. We were discussing some stuff about like stuff that's not common knowledge when it comes to like registering for medical exams and stuff like that. Not the exams. I'm saying like doctor's appointments and stuff.
Mm.
Most people don't know you can literally just call a surgeon's office and ask for an appointment. That's with them, like the same way you would with the primary care. If your insurance allows you to do that, like, if you don't have to have like a referral. And I was discussing this with Justin the other day, and I was literally just like, yeah, I didn't know if this would work or not, so I just said fuck around and find out and called, and it's how I lived most of my life. Fuck around, find out. So, in the case of the red pill, if I knew I was going to die, say, I don't know, 3 weeks from now, fuck around and find out. I'm not going to die robbing a bank.
Ooh, Isaiah, what about you?
I would take the red pill because knowing how I'm gonna die, I'm gonna be like, great, cool. It says by car. I'm gonna now avoid all roads.
Yeah.
Where
You're never going to leave the house.
Yeah, never leave the house, away from like all of the city and stuff like that. And then
If he
turns
says-
out.
if-
And then it turns out my car explodes in my garage, and that's what kills me. So, like, yeah, it was technically death by car, but it wasn't the way you thought it'd be. So, I feel like I'd be trying to avoid it too much. But if I knew the day, I'll be like, cool, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll just be able to prepare for, like, the rest of that time. Be like, oh, I'm going to die in 6 months? All right, guys, I'm going to spend everything in my bank account. We're going to party. And then when that day comes, I'm going to put on a suit, and let's see what happens.
Essentially, what the red pill is kind of giving you is like, not that I'm advocating for this kind of stuff, but you could go on a fucking bender. Do the most
you're right.
absolute insane shit. And for some reason, you're not going to die until that specific date.
But what if it's like you do something crazy, you go to jail, and then you spend your last few days in prison?
I mean, that's probably why you're going to die.
I'm going to get shanked in a prison cell.
You're going to get shanked in a prison cell or beaten to death in the shower or something.
Don't drop the soap.
That reminds me of
that one out.
It just reminds me of the story of this dude who he beat up an 81-year-old grandmother to steal like $500 from an ATM. He got arrested 24 hours later. While he was in jail, he only served 4 days in jail and then like got 3 years probation. But the other inmates found out what he did for beating up an 80-year-old grandma. So they beat the crap out of him in those 4 days that he was there in jail.
Good. He deserved it. Anyways.
Hey, you beat up my grandma. Fuck your ass.
Did you say I'll fuck your ass?
No, yeah. I just said fuck your ass, not I'll fuck your ass.
Little sus. They're just in prison. Like, I'll fuck you, bro. I'm gonna fuck you. And now you mean like fuck me up? No, I'm gonna fuck you.
Or it's like
your eyes are very pretty, dude.
They're just slowly. They're like aggressively flirting.
Yeah. Or like
I'll fucking kiss you in the shower, bro. I was gonna pick the blue pill because I was like, if I know the cause of my death, I can just avoid it. But after hearing both of your guys' answers, I'm like, you know what? You guys both make great points. And I would rather know the date of my death so I could live my life to the fullest until then, So I'm also going to take the red pill.
Oh my God. We got to take a red pill. Lou, we got to take the red pill.
Also,
there you have it.
Oh my God.
Also, everyone listening, if you want to either comment on our Instagram or message us on Twitter or whatever, you can let us know what you would do. Pick the red pill or the blue pill and why. We want to know. We like to read your comments and your answers.
One guy to say, I'll take both just to see what happens.
I want the purple pill.
I'm colorblind. Which one's red?
I don't care. Oh God. Well, anyways, Isaiah, you said you have a list.
Oh yeah, baby. I got lots and lots and lots of facts today. All right.
Okay, you have 2 minutes.
2 minutes? How dare you? All right. So we're gonna go with the list of people that could have played Neo, and for some reason, this list is extremely long.
Jeez. Okay.
All right. Number one.
Give us. Yeah, I was gonna say, give us the. I don't know. Should we, Lewis? Do we want the most surprising or the least surprising first?
Most surprising.
Okay, give us the most surprising first.
Most surprising. All right, let me go through this.
I want the wow factor. I want to gasp.
You want to gasp?
If I don't gasp, then it's not
gasp.
Good.
The first person that the Wachowskis really wanted was Johnny Depp.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
So they wanted. Now you have to remember, guys. Like, you're not thinking about today Johnny Depp. You got to think of Johnny Depp in 1999. All these people I'm about to mention, you have to.
What's wrong with 99?
Well, because they're not. They might not have been as famous as they were at this point. Like Johnny Depp.
He wasn't taken seriously. He was like Chris Pratt.
Well, no, because this was just after Speed. So Speed had Speed, I believe, came out like 97 or 98, and this is 99. So this was just right after that.
What a hunk.
99 Johnny Depp.
I see it. I see why. But yeah, the Wachowskis' first choice was Johnny Depp. However, I think the studio didn't agree with it, and Keanu was a bigger star at the time, so he got the role instead. Next is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Also not.
Of course.
Now, Leonardo DiCaprio...
He's too much of a pretty boy.
This was just after Titanic, because Titanic came out in 97. So he turned it down. Yeah, he turned it down because he didn't want to attach himself to another like big budget, special effects heavy movie so soon. So he wanted to wait it out a little bit. So he turned it down.
Now, was Johnny Depp offered it too, and he turned it down, or was it just like speculating?
No. I think the Wachowskis they were like, hey, who do you want to be in the movie? The Wachowskis said Johnny Depp, and they're like, the studio was like, I choose some others.
Yeah. Okay.
Next is Val Kilmer.
Who's that?
Val Kilmer? Batman. He's one of the old Batmans.
One of the old Batmans. He was. Oh my God, what's his name? In Top Gun.
Oh.
Yeah, that's Val Kilmer.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Crap, I forgot his name.
Really? Val Kilmer?
It was Val Kilmer.
That's surprising.
Oh my God, what's his name?
Yes.
That works.
Next would be Brad Pitt.
No.
Is this because of Fight Club, or was that before or after?
No, this was after he turned it down to be in Fight Club.
Oh, what did you look at that?
Yeah, and Val Kilmer turned his down to be in a movie called At First Light. I've never seen that one, but yeah. So Brad Pitt turned this down to be in Fight Club.
Okay, Brad, I see you.
The next person was offered was Nicolas Cage.
No, what? No.
What? That's a surprising.
Yeah, that's a surprising one.
He
turned it down?
He turned it down.
Not to shit on Nicolas Cage, he does have range for like...
Imagine like National Treasure version.
National Treasure Matrix.
I'm going to find out about the Matrix.
I'm going to steal the mainframe.
Hold on. I'm going to look up Nicolas Cage's... Because I have to know what movie would have just come out that he was in.
At that time?
I know National Treasure was like in the 2000s.
City of Angels probably was most recent.
Probably.
Hold on. Let's see right here. 95. New York City paramedic drama Bringing Out the Dead.
So principal photography for this movie did start in 97. So it did take 2 years to make. So think of movies in 97. That's what he would look like.
Okay.
What did Nick Cage look like that? Like in 97? Was he better looking maybe? Not so scary? He scares me. Have I ever mentioned that?
He in Face Off. He wasn't terrible. Face Off came out in 97. So that's what he would look like around that area. Nicolas Cage was offered it, but he turned it down because they were going to film the whole movie in Australia. So, and he didn't want to relocate. He didn't want to be away from his family for that long.
Aww.
Yeah, so he turned it down.
Family man.
Yeah, so we got Nicolas Cage, Brad Pitt, Val Kilmer, Johnny Depp, Leonardo DiCaprio, and the most famous person to turn down this movie is Will Smith.
I could have seen that.
Yeah, none of these are surprising so far, Isaiah. Val Kilmer, I will say, is surprising.
Nicolas Cage was surprising.
Well, if we're talking about the popularity he had in like 97, it kind of makes sense.
Well, yeah, I'm just meaning for the role. Like it just said, like imagine him dodging bullets.
Imagine Will Smith dodging bullets.
I could see it. I could picture both. I could picture almost all of them except for Val Kilmer.
Wait, that's because you love Nick Cage.
No, it's not my love for Nick Cage. It's because I would say that the movie would not be nearly as good.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Keanu.
I agree. Now, Will Smith turned down the movie because he thought The Matrix was too ambitious with his special effects. So he turned it down to star in the critically panned Wild Wild West.
Interesting.
Now, if you don't know, that is considered one of Will Smith's worst movies of all time.
Even though it is an iconic film.
It is iconic, but I think everybody lost it when they saw the giant mechanical spider show up. So
still iconic.
Iconic. Now, I saved the best for last because I know none of you will be able to predict this one. The person who was not... Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock?
Yes.
I love her.
She was in what role?
God.
Trinity?
You got the gasp.
She was offered the role of Neo.
Oh! You got a genuine gasp out of me. Oh my God. Congrats.
Yes, they were considering rewriting the character to be a woman in order to get Sandra Bullock aboard, but she turned it down for, I believe, some other reasons, and then they said, okay, we're just going to keep with someone else. And then they asked a bunch of other people, and then Keanu signed on.
Do you have any of these other people on your list?
Ooh.
You said a bunch of other people. Do you have any of those other people on the
other
list?
People I just mentioned are the other people they asked.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Wow. That one does throw me for a loop, though. Sandra Bullock. Honestly, I feel like that could have also been a good film.
It would have been a very interesting film, that's for sure.
I mean, I love anything she's in, so I would have been fine with
that. Now, people who could have played Morpheus includes Russell Crowe.
What?
Yeah, Russell Crowe.
Okay.
I can kind of see it.
Yeah, you could see it a little bit, but I think I don't know how.
No,
I can't
Lawrence
imagine
Fishburne is Lawrence Fishburne is Morpheus, but I could definitely see Russell Crowe after A Beautiful Mind.
I don't know. I forgot the reason why he turned it down, but he did turn it down. Now, according to composer Don David, I believe Don Davis, my bad, I wrote that wrong, told that the Wachowskis were also considered giving it to Gary Oldman, our boy.
Oh,
Could see that, definitely.
And of course, Samuel L. Jackson.
I knew it. I was like, if he doesn't mention him.
People I would have thought of if I was considering this, or like if I had to consider like an alternative to Lawrence Fishburne.
You were the casting director.
If I was casting, or if I had to like remake the original Matrix film, not write Resurrections or whatever the fuck they wrote, but like remakes the original film with a different cast, and it was like a different time, I might have actually picked James Earl Jones.
Ooh.
James Earl Jones.
I can't see James Earl Jones beating up a bunch of people on a highway.
No, just for the like the iconic red pill blue pill scene.
Yeah.
And maybe like once he's put into the Matrix, he might be like a younger version of himself, kind of thing.
With the Beth voice and everything.
Yeah, sure.
Lawrence Fishburne plays a young David Earl Jones. You know what? I think that'd be very interesting. Like if they had to make a movie where it was like an older version and then like a younger version, like going past.
Yeah.
Well, if they made like a Morpheus origin story, Lawrence Fishburne would play the old version of him. Well, we'll get into that later on when we go into the other movies. But there is a lot of lore and a lot of different things about what happens to Morpheus's character in between the fourth movie and the third movie, because there's a lot of things that happen in between, especially with the video games, the online thing, the comic books, the animatrix, all that crap. So
the video game is top fucking notch. I will point that out.
I would like to point out that in my hands, actually right now in my hands, because I was prepared for this, I have the original Xbox video game of Path of Neo that I've been dying to play for the last 10 years because I got rid of my Xbox and they didn't make it backwards compatible, so I can never touch it again.
Isaiah, I have an Xbox 360 in my apartment.
Has to be an original Xbox. 360 doesn't count.
Damn it. I just want you to come visit.
They also have it on like PS2. Are any other people considered for Morpheus?
Not Morpheus, no. It was just Russell Crowe, Gary Oldman, and Samuel Jackson.
What about Agent Smith?
Agent Smith?
Mm-hmm.
He was almost played by Jean Reno.
Who
the hell is that?
Leon the Professional.
Jean
Reno. Leon the Professional. Oh my God. Do I really have to show you guys who Jean Reno is?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I don't know who this is.
Wait. No, you're kidding. Yes. You're kidding. Jean Reno.
Jean Reno.
I've never known his name. I know his face, though.
I don't know.
You're gonna know it when you see a picture of him.
I'm looking at his face. I don't recognize him.
Did you ever watch the movie Seven?
No.
Never mind then.
I think what do you call it? The movie I know him from is Leon the Professional. That, or if you saw Godzilla in 2000, because he turned down the role because he didn't want to go to live in Australia, much like
he's in the Pink Panther.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. That's how I would know
him.
He's
in the Da Vinci Code, Mission Impossible, The Pink Panther, Ronin.
That's the most important one.
Leon the Professional.
I don't know any of these other ones that he's in except for Pink Panther. So.
Oh my God.
And Pink Panther too.
Oh my God. Anyways, he turned it down because he didn't want to move to Australia, and he went to go and star in Godzilla 2000 instead, which was sorry, man. Anyway, so now people who almost played Trinity include pop icon Janet Jackson.
What? Okay, I didn't even know she really did that much acting.
He was going to, except her. I think it was her Velvet Rope tour was happening at the exact same time as the movie's filming, so there was too much scheduling conflict, so she ended up losing out on the role. And then also because of before they had considered making a female Neo, they were going to put Sandra Bullock as a possibility for being Trinity.
Yeah, that I could see that.
Yeah.
However, the part eventually went to Carrie-Anne Moss, who is an unknown Canadian actress at the time.
I was going to say I didn't see her before.
Yeah, she actually during the movie she twisted her ankle, so she had a sprained ankle, and for 6 months she didn't tell anybody because she was afraid that they would replace her. So she went through
What a trooper.
yeah, what do you call it? She's sitting there fighting and people, and they're all surprised once they learned about it after the fact. They're like, how the hell were you standing, let alone fighting, doing choreography? They were like, holy crap. And I think it took like 6 months for her leg to heal after that, because they're like, holy crap.
What?
Yeah, so
being on your feet like that all the time.
Bitch.
I know, right?
Carrie-Anne Moss. Sandra.
If none of you know, Beth just sent a picture of Sandra Bullock from 1997, and that's why he said that. I do see that. I do see it.
If like even now, I would still call her like like one of my celebrity crushes. But
the scene, I want to get into some of the movie things. Keanu Reeves, when he's filming the scene when he's like up on like outside on the scaffolding, like trying to escape the agents and stuff like that, he himself is actually 30 floors up. It wasn't CGI. They went up 34 floors, and he's actually looking down. That's him just wired to a building.
That's crazy.
Now, to simulate a repeating program, the scene with the girl in the red dress, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that one. Now, if you look at the extras in the background, they're mostly made up of identical twins to give an effect of like repeated assets, because it's...
Oh, really? I didn't even notice.
So the biggest example is that at the start of the scene, when everybody's paused, you'll see a guy in a suit with like sunglasses on, and then when Neo looks to his left, he sees a cop. They're the exact same person. Well, they're twins. They look exactly the same. And then there's a couple of there's 2 older women who look exactly the same. There's 2 sailors that are exactly the same. And so
they just found a bunch of identical twins all over the world. We're like, hey,
you want to be in a movie?
So when Neo meets Trinity, the club they're in is called the Hellfire Club, which is a real...
like the Stranger Things.
No, it's an S&M club.
It's also in Stranger Things.
We're talking about a real life S&M club.
Yes.
What's an S&M club?
BDSM.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So when they're in that scene, it's an actual real life place called the Hellfire Club in Sydney, Australia. And all the extras are real patrons of the Hellfire Club who provided their own costumes.
Nice.
So all the leather and whips, they're all real. So now the lobby shootout, right? Towards the end of the film, the lobby shootout.
The sickest shootout ever.
Now, it took 10 days to shoot for the 3-minute sequence, because everything was made of practical effects. So every time they did a take, they had to rebuild the freaking lobby.
Now, Jacob did tell me a fun fact about this, about like one of the scenes. I don't know, maybe you might be mentioning it. So I'll just briefly say what it was, but it was like a 1-take thing that they couldn't mess up.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Do you have that as a fact? Oh, no? Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what specifically you're talking about. So.
Okay, let me share a fun fact.
Okay.
In Isaiah. So there was a scene where Keanu is in the hallways, and he has, he shoots up a bunch of guys. And the director basically was like, listen, you have 1 take to do this, because the shot took like $1 million that they put down on this scene, because it was all, special effects and stuff. It wasn't all CGI. So it's like, you cannot mess this up. Oh, actually, you know what? This might be the second movie. Either way, it's good. And he's like, you cannot mess this up. We have 1 take. And as soon as they start rolling, Keanu slips and falls, and they had to throw away $1 million.
That's fucking rough.
I don't know what shot you're talking about. I don't know what fact this is from. I don't know which movie this is from.
Well, it's in one of them. I can do my research and get back to you on the next episode.
Yeah.
Continue though.
Yeah, so it took 10 days to shoot that sequence. It had to be redone every take, because they didn't want to do CGI for that one. And the only CGI in that scene is just the stunt wires holding the actors. They just had to get rid of those.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Carrie-Anne Moss, the flip that she does when she just goes up the walls and does the famous flip. She did that one. Yes. She did that 1 go.
What a badass.
Now, the movie, all the fight choreography is done by Woo Ping Young. Now, he is famous. He's a famous martial artist choreographer, mostly known for Drunken Master with Jackie Chan. He did the choreography for that. Now, he originally didn't want to be a part of the movie, so he gave them like an exorbitant price to be like, hey, if you want my services, you're gonna have to pay like this amount of money, thinking they wouldn't agree to it, and they agreed to it immediately. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna like give them some like ridiculous demand, saying like, hey, if I want to do this, if you're gonna do this, I'm gonna have complete control of everything. The actors have to do all this ridiculous training with me and all this stuff. And they said, they didn't bat an eye. They said yes. And so and he was like, crap, all right, I guess I gotta do this.
You're a highly respected master of drunken boxing. Of course, I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, he was like, so I guess it's like, crap, all right, I guess I got to do the job. So he taught them all this, and all the actors had to learn intense choreography. There were many, many injuries. Some of even the stunt people. One of the stunt people actually, he went on later to direct John Wick with Keanu Reeves. Chad Stahelski. He was one of the stuntmen, and he later became part of the stunt choreography crew. But yeah, he was also one of them. He injured his, I think he would call it, during the scene when they slam into the ceiling in the subway. He was the stunt guy. He ended up something went wrong with the wiring work, and he ended up breaking both his ribs, a broken leg. He pulled a ligament. Like he was in bad shape. And that's not. And then also speaking of injuries, because there was some broken bones, a lot of sprained ankles, stuff like that. One of the bigger ones was Keanu Reeves during the choreography, like when he had to train. Right before it, he had spine surgery. Therefore, he had to wear a back brace throughout the whole training segments.
Mm-hmm.
So he couldn't do a lot of kicks. So there's a lot of if you notice, he does a lot of kicks. His back is always very straight because
straight.
Yeah,
I did notice that. I thought that was just like his style.
Yeah, no, his back is, well, I guess it became part of his style. But yeah, because his back is very straight whenever he kicks, because he's not supposed to bend over because his spine is. He just had spine surgery, so
broken.
Yeah. So he didn't have a lot of kicks compared to like all the other characters and stuff like that. So they were very careful with his choreography to make sure that he was okay and make sure they didn't like break his back again. Now, the Wachowskis had the cast and main crew read 3 books in order to prepare them for the script. Nobody was allowed to touch the script until they had read and understood the philosophy behind the movie of like what they were trying to, like what the message and what they were trying to say is, right? So they had him read a book called Simulacra and Simulation. Is a 1981 philosophical treatise, I don't know how you pronounce that, by philosopher and cultural theorist Jean Baudrillard. I pretty butchered his name. The idea is to examine the relationships between reality and symbols and like why things have meaning, basically. And the next book it's called Out of Control by Kevin Kelly, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of that book is it's called, the full title is called The New Biology of Machines, Social Systems, and the Economic World. It's basically the idea of cybernetics, emergence and self-organization, complex systems, and chaos theory, and how it all kind of works together to create like a utopia in like a techno world, which is what basically the Matrix itself would be. So that's kind of like that book kind of goes into like the philosophy of the Matrix itself and like why it would exist and that kind of things. And then the next book would be Evolutionary Psychology. I couldn't really figure out why they had him read this one, but it's basically just kind of like examining illustrations and intelligence on an academic level. So those are the 3 books all the main actors and all the main crew had to read in order to, before they can even touch the script. They said, you have to tell us what the philosophy is, and if you get it right, then we'll let you read the script. So yeah, they really so they
made them homework.
Yeah, because
that's fun.
The main reason is because the Warner Brothers didn't want to film. They didn't want to fund the movie. They had actually shopped around the script a bunch, and a lot of people said this is a really good movie, but we don't think the audience would ever get it. So they were like, we're afraid to make the movie because then we're gonna think, we're gonna end up with this like disaster because nobody's gonna understand it, and it's gonna get all like really dumb and stuff like that. I mean, people are gonna think it's gonna go over their heads. So they wanted the actors themselves that were going to portray the character, they wanted them to understand what they were going to portray so that the audience could understand as well. Because obviously they wanted the teachers to be able to fully understand the material.
That makes sense.
I want to say that Evolutionary Psychology would play a role as like a book regarding this when it came to like Morpheus's scene describing your concept of reality. You know what I mean? Like when he's trying to tell him about the red pill and the blue pill and explaining to him what the Matrix is and like all that sort of thing and how we evolve as humans to reach such a point. I think that's what they...
Yeah, it's like sociology almost, how humans interact with each other.
Like what evolutionary traits, what social, natural, selective traits are, why did we evolve them? Why
are we the way that we are?
Essentially, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah, Interesting books, definitely for sure. I want to kind of read them, just kind of see what was going on over there.
Mhm.
Now, our next thing, the famous bullet dodge scene. The way they did this is freaking
what
wild.
scene was this?
What?
The scene where he dodges, the
bullets.
first time he dodges the bullets.
The famous lean back
Wait. I don't know what
on
you're
the
talking
rooftop.
about.
The agent, he
the
shoots
agent's
at
trying
him.
to shoot
You
him.
guys, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh.
Oh my
I
god.
don't know,
very-
Beth. You sometimes say some really dumb stuff.
Double.
Whoa,
Shut up.
whoa! This just escalated.
Came out swinging. Anyways, okay. So the scene where he dodges the bullets. Yes.
Now, so to do this, they put him on a green screen set. They surrounded it with 120 still cameras, DSLRs, and then 2 film cameras, and they basically had him do the movement really fast, and they had all the cameras go off at once, but a millisecond apart, to capture the 360 movement of it all, and then they put it in with the film, and it became that slow motion sequence.
Jacob tried explaining this to me, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure, honey," and I didn't believe him. It's like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's very hard to explain without actually looking at it. You can Google pictures of it of the bullet dodge set. It is very weird. Like the actual set, so they looked at it with like the 120 cameras surrounding it. It's just like intimidating to look at.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Our next one is we're gonna get into the digital rain. All right, I went really because I went a little deep dive creating our little announcement that season 3 was going to be The Matrix. Yeah, I got a little deep dive on the digital rain, on like what it was and like the glyphs and all that stuff. Now, they were created by production designer Simon Whiteley after the original code that he created was scrapped by the Wachowskis. They said, "Nah, it's not going to work." He drew they were like, we want something more like bare bones, something more matching the original like code of like computers and the kind of stuff. They want something like real gritty. So you went back to the drawing board, went home, started looking at Japanese cookbooks of sushi rolls, realized that looks pretty good. Hand rewrote, like traced them out, and then put them into the characters on the digital rain. So whenever you see the digital rain, there's Japanese characters in it. They're like sushi rolls, like recipes. Now, obviously they're in code and they're random, so you're not going to be able to, like, if you were like in Japanese, like if you were Japanese or understood Japanese lettering, you wouldn't be able to look at it and be like, oh yeah, I know what that means. I can tuna salad, like, no, you wouldn't be able to do that.
I believe
Interesting.
the characters themselves are called kanji.
No, these were actually katakanas.
Ah.
The Matrix code is stylized in katakana, which are syllabic characters used for spelling foreign words. Also, whenever they look at it in the screens, like when the operator looks at it, the glyphs are backwards to simulate looking into the Matrix.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
cool.
when Neo's talking to Cypher and talking about like, oh, he's like, you look at it always encoded, and he's like, yeah, you have to. They're backwards.
A fun fact, I don't 100% know the accuracy that I'm repeating this fact. If I understood correctly, Chinese and Japanese people can read each other's languages, but they can't speak it the same way because of the fact that they're using very similar script. Though that's just a random
fact. I cannot verify, but that is interesting.
Me neither. I did learn like Japanese. There's a lot of different Chinese and Japanese are different variations of it.
Yes.
And there's a lot of them.
Yes.
So it's very hard trying to learn all of those.
They essentially exist as dialects because I mean there's Mandarin, Cantonese. Just for Chinese, it's like Mandarin, Cantonese, and I think there's at least 3 other provinces.
We're on to our last 2 facts here. Hugo Weaving who plays Agent Smith, based his voice on 50s news reporters, basically, like specifically Walter Cronkite. And if you don't know who Walter Cronkite is, he's the guy who did CBS Evening News for like 20 years, who famously reported the moon landing and the assassination of JFK. Yeah, so he based his like tone, like the way he spoke, based off of that. So that's why he sounds very distinct when he's talking, like Agent Smith, which I don't know. I think he nailed it perfectly.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then for our last fact, which I think a lot of people may know, but the movies, whenever they are in the Matrix, everything is tinted green to simulate the old school computer screens from back in the day.
Oh, I did not know this.
Yeah. However, whenever they are out of the Matrix, they're blue. They're tinted blue to simulate the coldness of the world, because obviously the only heat is from the core of the planet, which isn't like they don't see the city of Zion in this movie. so everything else is blue to simulate cold. And then when they're in like the training programs, it's yellow. Like when Neo's fighting Morpheus, the area is yellow because it's neither in the Matrix nor in the real world. Yeah. So and those are all my facts for today. It was a long, but damn, I love this movie. There's so many things to talk about.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. To jump back to my fact, because I wanted to correct myself here and not offend anyone. There are actually 7 large groups of dialects in China: Mandarin, Dan, Hakka, Min, Wu, Zhang, and Cantonese. 3 of them have alternative names. I'm not going to try and pronounce them because I don't want to, mess those up. And there are actually 23 provinces in China. This is some random fun fact here. Anyway, I agree wholeheartedly with Isaiah's last statement. This is one of my favorite movies amongst anything, really. Like one of my favorite series and like worlds to kind of deep dive into. Yeah, I really think if we did like a whole analysis of the film, there would be a very broad range of things to discuss, and like all the symbolism and things that they tried to aspire to would be really interesting. But yeah, now that we've concluded the fact statement, Beth, would you like to take us into our final part of the episode?
Gladly. Let me just get my notes out.
Oh boy, here we go.
Notes.
I wrote physical paper notes. Okay, that's how you know.
We are only professionals here, boys.
It sounded like she was flipping a lot of pages. How many pages of notes did you write?
I literally was just doing it for comedic effect, but
okay.
What? So I'm going to start with my rating. I gave it. Okay, so on Letterboxd, I gave it a 4 out of 5. On paper, I gave it a 4 1/4.
Shut up.
4.25.
Oh my god. I hate that so much. Oh, I'm gonna give it a 4.8. Like, what does that mean? It's not an average.
Because it is an average. Because
cut off one score. The average when it happens, when those numbers pop up, is because it's like 1,000 scores.
Let me explain. I would rate other movies that I've watched. I'm not going to go naming any because I can't think of any off the top of my head. But there are other movies that I've rated 4.5 that this is not equal to. But it's also not as low as a 4 for like other films that I would say are 4s. So it goes in the middle. It's leaning towards 4.5.
It's a 4.35. Okay?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I'll accept it. Heavy sigh.
So, for those of you who don't know, for those of you who don't know, I have never seen any of the Matrix movies. I knew pretty much slim to nothing about these films except for the red pill, blue pill, and like the meme part of it, and obviously the iconic scenes like the bullet dodging scene and stuff like that. Yeah. But that was about it. To my understanding, before I watched this film, I thought that this movie was a spy movie. This entire time,
what?
I thought it was. Yes. Okay. Now, this is why I never wanted to watch it, because I was, to my knowledge, for some fucking stupid reason, I thought this was a spy movie because they look like spies. And I just assumed it was a spy movie.
Wow. Wow.
So,
wow. Yes. That's all I got.
So I went into it with very little hope. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is pretty much up my alley. As soon as, for example, I was like into it as soon as the first scene with the worm bug that was in his stomach. Oh. And they use a machine and they just yank it out of his stomach. By the way, sorry if that's disgusting to anybody. Basically, they
parasite. I know what you're referring to. Yes.
Yeah, they put this machine up to his belt, like up to his belly button, and there's a bug in him, and they just rip it out of his like belly button, like his navel.
He quite literally got bugged.
Yes, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh, this is good. This is up my alley. This is just something I like." Gross, disturbing. Like I'm all into Saw, and stuff like that. So that was fun. Anyways, yeah, I had no idea what to expect. Obviously, I was not expecting just like a dumb or I wouldn't say dumb, but it's more of like just an entertaining, action-packed movie. After that scene, I was like, okay, this might just be this might not be too bad. So obviously it was good for a lot of reasons. It had, obviously the iconic moments, like the bullet dodging scene, and you have the Trinity doing her iconic flip, which became titled as the Trinity flip. I don't know if anyone knew that. And then also, the red pill, blue pill, and the outfits, and everything about the movie is just so recognizable. For someone who literally just saw it for the first time today, as we are recording this, I knew a lot about I shouldn't say I knew a lot about the film because I thought it was a spy movie, but I knew of it just by like seeing images, I think for the time that it came out, right, 99, the effects and everything were obviously I'm a 2000s baby. Don't come at me. I know, I'm aware of the tragedy. I'm a 2000s baby. And if I was like maybe 12 years old when that movie had come out, I would have lost my freaking mind. That would have been the coolest thing to have ever come out. Like graphics wise, action wise, like it's just iconic for its time. Definitely an entertaining movie. Another scene I wanted to mention was the character Mouse, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, he's really asking the real questions, okay? Because he's asked questions. I've never seen this film before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this man has asked questions that I've asked. And I'm like, oh shit, he's on this.
It's
not just me.
Are you talking about the chicken moment, aren't you?
Yes, I'm talking about the chicken moment. Okay, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, there's a scene where Mouse is a character. He talks about how, they're in the simulation and everything, and he's wondering how the AI has programmed chicken to taste like chicken. Because what if to him chicken tastes like chicken, but to somebody else, how do you differentiate what tastes like what? And that is a question that I've always had. It's like, what if my blue is Lewis's yellow? You know what I mean?
What if we're all colorblind?
That's what I'm saying. We're back on colorblind. So I was like, Mouse, you're on to some shit here. Also, Lord of the Rings, Elf, Agent Smith, Hugo Weaving. Amazing. My favorite character, or not my favorite character, but I think he did his character the best out of everyone. Now, I enjoyed the 90s nostalgia, even though I wasn't born in the 90s. I grew up basically like I was in the 90s because I had a lot of older siblings. So I grew up with a lot of that 90s music, 90s, what do you want to call it? Like 90s core, as the kids say. And also, don't hate on me. It took me until today, when I watched the movie with my own two eyes, to realize that Morpheus was not Mace Windu. This entire time. And I've seen the meme. I've seen Morpheus' face before, but it took me until today to be like, that's not Mace Windu. This whole time I thought Samuel L. Jackson was in The Matrix, and I feel like a fool. And I want to apologize to both Lawrence Fishburne and also Samuel L. Jackson, for that matter, and the whole Matrix cast. While I'm at it, why not?
Wow.
Because I feel like a fool. And then I also had written down just a few cons. The things that made it not a perfect 5 for me. Now, I understand. I understand if they were doing this on purpose. That's another thing. I don't know if they were doing this on purpose or not, but this was something that it made me cringe. But it was the corny sound effects at times when they're like punching and hitting, and it's like, whoosh. I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't know if they did that on purpose, but it really made me cringe.
It is on purpose. It's because the fight scenes are based off of old school Hong Kong kung fu movies.
Yeah.
So
I figured, but it just, I don't know. It was just took me out of it for some reason. Obviously there was like some corny dialogue sometimes and whatnot, but it's like, it's our way or the highway. I was like, all right, let's, and that was pretty much it. And then there was also like that, the love relationship between Trinity and Neo was just, to me, just unnecessary. in my opinion, I was like, do we have to do that? Can't we just have like a badass woman who's a badass woman and it doesn't have to fall in love with the main character kind of thing? But that's just me. So those are the only reasons why I made it a 4 and 4.35. So
okay, fair.
Next. And
theme.
let me just throw that out. Okay. I feel like I have so much more to say when I write notes. I'm gonna start actually watching the films before we record. Well, because I just feel like I have so much more to add when I actually write notes while I watch it.
Isaiah, do you want to go next, or do you want me to go next?
You can go next.
Okay. I was 5 years old when The Matrix came out. I think I was maybe 11 when I watched it. Yeah, I think so. I was probably 11 when I watched it. So it's 2003. I have this very distinct memory of watching the second film in my like mom's room with like her old TV and the DVD player, because I just after watching Revenge of the Sith again, because I used to have it on DVD. I give this movie, I'm going to point it out now. Revolutions is actually my favorite. Not Revolutions. Matrix Reloaded is my favorite of the trilogy. But this one comes in a close second, and I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. And the introduction to this universe was one of the most unique things I think I can remember from my childhood and from like my later deep dives and the video game and all that stuff, like understanding the concept behind the simulation, the literary references littered throughout the film. Just the simple effects of watching, Neo like get punched into a fucking wall by Agent Smith and dodging bullets and shit. I don't know. I think there's some this film stands out a lot from a lot of other sci-fi stuff that I can refer to, or a lot of like the almost, I wouldn't call this cyberpunk, but like cyberpunk-esque fandoms, I guess you can relate back to. I will slightly agree and disagree with you on the idea that we shouldn't have had Trinity fall in love with Neo. It wasn't completely necessary, sure. I think what it was more about was in that scene where like Neo's dying, and she like, she's saying to him like, I believe in you, like, because that's all he really needed was to believe in himself. And for him to have someone he truly cares about in the real world say that to him as he's dying in the Matrix, which also is a slight reference to I don't want to say it's like for sure, like I can confirm it, but I feel like there's a vague reference to the Nightmare on Elm Street. If you die in your dreams, you die in real life. Yeah, so I can kind of agree with you. I think I'm looking at it from a different perspective, as like, like she's saying to him, like, I believe in you, Neo. And like that's one of the main things about his character throughout, like one of the things for his arc the entire time is him believing in himself. Whether or not everyone believed in Morpheus's prophecy and whether or not they all themselves believed in Neo as being the one, all they really needed was for him to believe in himself and release himself from the negativity in his mind. So I think that's an interesting aspect of his character arc.
I agree.
An interesting theme to the movie itself. It's been a while since I've watched the film. I meant to watch it today, but I got stuck at work.
At least you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it more than once. I love this film franchise as a whole. Shout out to the Wachowskis. Isaiah.
I really like this movie. If you couldn't tell, I gave it a 5 out of 5, and it is on my liked list.
Whoa!
Yeah. Isaiah liked something? What?
So I don't know. I have a deep appreciation for this movie because it's like one of those things of like nobody really thought of these kind of questions or like to come up with this like idea. Like this is literally the first time. Like nowadays we have like simulation theory and all that kind of bull crap, and people are like trying to push the metaverse and all that stuff. And this was in 1999. This was literally 24 years ago.
Y2K hadn't even happened yet.
Yeah. So and like
it was just before that.
Yeah.
So this is literally like a quarter of a century ago that they came up with this idea of being like, okay, what if like let's push these ideas? And especially they were inspired by William Gibson and Philip K. Dick and all those like phenomenal sci-fi writers from the previous years before. It's like, holy crap, this is my bread and butter. So it's just and then the concept of like combining like deep philosophical ideas and
sorry, I want to just add to that before you change topic. It's hard for me to, I guess, grasp that concept of like it's the same thing as like with Star Wars, with the big reveal of Darth Vader being Luke's father. It's hard to imagine a life where that isn't already a known thing for me. like I've been surrounded with like the simulation theory stuff since I was born because it came out before I was born. So I can't grasp the concept of being in that theater and seeing something like that for the first time, like ever, and just being like, holy fucking shit, you know. But continue. I just wanted to add that.
Oh. Well, I mean, I didn't see this movie when it came out. I saw it like the mid to late 2000s, I think.
Yeah, I want to say I saw it in like 2003.
Yeah, I probably saw it in like 2008, probably.
Beth, the simulation theory actually popped up when you were 3 years old.
Well, either way, I wouldn't have. I would have just been grasping things. Okay.
He would have been a wee lad.
Yeah.
So it's just I think the combination, like what I was saying before, the combination of like philosophy and tech and then kung fu, like it's such a weird combination of things, but it just works so well together. And it's so crazy that like they were coming up with all this stuff, and it's just, I love it so much. I do agree that there is a few things, like the love story is a little bit bland. Like I understand it was kind of like weird, but it does go into like the whole point of like, does fate really exist? Because it's like, well, what's like her fate technically was supposed to be to fall in love with the one, but had he not been the one, would it happen? Because she was supposed to be like, oh, you're the one because I'm in love with you, and you know, and it has like a lot of little questions going on back and forth within itself and like and within the character dynamics. And then I also like the idea of having to like you get to rewatch a movie, and each time you rewatch it, you get something new out of it. That's why I like Inception so much, because every time you watch it, you notice something different. And so when you go through it, you're like, oh, that's new. Oh, I didn't see that before. That's pretty cool. And then you pay attention to dialogue. Oh my god, you're like, oh my god, I understand what that means now. I kind of get it. Like when I first watched the movie, I think like when he's in the room with all the other kids that are considered like to be the one, and he's like, there is no spoon. I never understood that. Like I understood the line. I knew what it meant. Like, oh, he's like, okay, cool. Like he's bending the spoon. But then like upon this viewing, I was like, I finally fully understood what the concept and like what he was trying to get at is that like Neo needs to understand that the reason he feels that he can't do anything, he can't make the jump, or he can't like do all the crazy stuff, or he doesn't think he's the one, is because he is still grounded in that this reality has rules and that he still has to follow them, like gravity, like the impossible things that he's doing, the speed and all that crap. But when the kid is telling him there is no spoon, it's because he's saying you have to realize the truth. There is nothing there. The only reason you think it's something there is because you're looking at it, but you have to believe and know that it's not actually there, and that's why you can bend it. And I think
that's some trippy shit.
And I think that scene kind of encapsulates the entire like that specific theme that they're going through, because there are a bunch of other ones. And so I don't know, it was just great. I love it. I can ramble on for days about why this is just a fun movie to watch. So if you haven't watched it, you should watch it.
Absolutely.
And I do think at the ending there, like when he because he's technically supposed to be like a messiah, like he's a messiah complex kind of going on. Just kind of the idea is the prophecy, the coming back from the dead, the being the savior of everyone, that kind of thing, which we'll get into more depth in the next two movies, because there's a big thing about that. It's kind of just, I do understand it was a little bland. Like, I mean, I do understand it's like the hero's journey. It's a template, but I mean, like this one is done so well, because even in Star Wars, like what do you call it? It's the hero's journey is basically the original trilogy. Like it always depends. Everything's kind of like there's nothing new, but the way they do, you have to do something that is refreshing, and they did that with this. And I feel like, yeah, even though I kind of know what this like story already is, there's still something new to watch it. And even though I can watch it a million times, I still get something new out of it.
Yes, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I also want to add, just from my own like perspective, is despite all the influences they may have had, like the fact that a pair of siblings sat there and wrote this story together, you know, because I feel like it's simpler to create to world build places like Hogwarts and Harry Potter and Star Wars. You know, you can imagine these like places that are full of magic and dragons and beasts that you can just come up with, and like, you know, a lot of credit to George Lucas for coming up with like the alternative languages and stuff that they came up with for Star Wars and a futuristic society and whatnot in a galaxy far, far away. Or even Tolkien in his time for what we'll eventually get to in Lord of the Rings.
It's happening, Isaiah.
With as far as the Wachowskis and the Matrix itself, like this universe, the way they've kind of created this and like world built a lot of these characters and stuff, that like not just the movies, but also like in the Path of Neo and Enter the Matrix and some people that you get to see a little bit more background of them. It's fascinating to me having to expand this specific type of universe. Even Star Trek isn't like, crazy to me, right? So
I think what I love about the Path of Neo, the video game, is that like all these concepts, right? Like they explained in the movies, they kind of apply it to the movies, they kind of do it that way. But then in the video game, they full on kind of like translate those concepts into the video game about like, oh, you're playing a simulation about a dude in a simulation breaking out of the simulation. So, and they play on that a lot and about like, oh, okay, cool. So like you got like in the movie, he kind of just got like all that training done. Now we're actually going to have you, like he's kind of downloaded it into his brain. Now we're going to actually have you do it so that you can download it into your brain kind of thing. So I just really love that. I just love that video game. Man, I really want to play it. Oh my God, what do you call it? Everybody, all the pics, there's only like 6 polygons on Neo's face, but damn, do I still want to play it?
These are all good points, guys.
That last thing I'll say is I also very much appreciate the deep philosophical core of this film.
Yes,
I'll leave it. I'll keep it that simple. But yeah,
and I will keep my agreement short as well. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for sticking around for 3 whole fucking seasons. This is going to be a shorter season, obviously, because this series is not as long as Star Wars or Harry Potter. But do not fret. We will have plenty of fun stuff in store for you guys in the following season and in this season. So if you guys have watched The Matrix, or if you haven't, go fucking watch it, because I just watched it and I'm excited to watch the others.
Yeah, go watch a spy movie.
Yeah, with Mace Windu.
Yeah, with Mace Windu and Will Smith. I'm sorry, no. So it's, it's Mace Windu
and Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, it's Mace Windu, Sandra Bullock, and Nicolas Cage.
There it is. Miss Congeniality, yes. Anyways, so thank you guys. Again, I want to thank you personally. I'm speaking for the boys as well. They also thank you.
The boys.
The boys.
You can find us on social medias, Instagram, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify at Silver Screen Sips, Twitter at Silver Screen Sip with no S at the end. You can also email us at silverscreensips@gmail.com with any of your listeners' episode movie suggestions. And we will feature you in that episode and rate and review your film that you pick. We post every Monday morning, so we will see you guys in next week's episode, where we will dive into, what's the second episode called?
The Matrix Reloaded.
Matrix Reloaded?
Yes.
Into The Matrix Reloaded.
Oh boy. But that's just a theory, a game theory.
That's what it sounded like. Oh my God.
Get ready.
All right.
But that's just a theory, a simulation theory.
God bless.
Can you believe? Goodbye, guys.
Get ready to follow us down the rabbit hole.
Again.